Right. Let's talk a little bit about James Rosen. He, of course, our Washington chief correspondent here at Fox News. Turns out the Department of Justice went after James back in 2009.
And I have to factor in, too, William Arjanesh with Fast and Furious.
Sure, indeed. But with the Rosen case, we have some pretty specific details. 2009, James reported what North Korea was going to do after the United Nations condemned them. And as it turns out, a fella at the State Department was indicted and has pled not guilty. A fellow by the name of Stephen Kim gave him the information. That's normally where the case would have ended. But instead, the Department of Justice, in a gigantic government out of control way, went ahead and decided to go ahead and try to look into James Rosen's email, which they did, and also phone records, which they did. A whole bunch of them.
His personal email, though. I mean, I think it's important to point out it's his personal email, not just his work email. His personal email, and possibly his phone conversations, probably his texts, and also his parents, who live in Staten Island.
All right, so here is what Rudy Giuliani would do if he had James Rosen as a client. You know, he was a prosecutor, knows the law.
I can't imagine how you would name a reporter as an unindicted co-conspirator when all the reporter was doing was their job. The reality is the obligation is on the government employee. They take the oath of office. They're the ones that have the obligation not to leak sensitive or classified information. A reporter is supposed to ask questions. It's the government official that knows the obligation that they have. I can't imagine, in all the experience I've had with the Justice Department, I've never heard of a reporter being named as an unindicted co-conspirator, basically saying they committed criminal conduct. This is obviously an attempt to pry into his records and into Fox's records. It's no different than what the IRS did in going after the conservative groups. He knows he doesn't like Fox. Everybody in the Justice Department knew exactly whose bidding they were doing in trying to go after Fox.
Here's what Rudy is actually saying. He doesn't like Fox. There is a double standard. I don't know if you picked that up at home, if you've been following the world or the U.S. policy. This administration knows that there was a major leak last June where Senator McCain says, why don't we find out who's leaking from the administration? Because David Sanger wrote a book talking about how we put a Stuxnet virus in Iranian, in a cyber attack on Iranian computers.
But Brian, that made us look good.
But yeah, that also how the President of the United States personally checks off a kill list before a drone strike at a would-be terrorist cell.
That makes him look tough.
Right, so David Sanger gets away with both those things. And how about this? Go back 4 or 5 or 6 years. Dana Priest writes the story unearthing the secret prisons the CIA kept in Eastern Europe amongst our allies to talk to high-value targets. She publishes that story. It blows up our secret prisons, and she gets a Pulitzer, I almost said surprise, Pulitzer Prize Award for that. These guys, James Rosen gets his parents tapped, lines tapped, and she gets a medal.
So it's a double standard, Jinx. Let's tell you about another.